Hey there, lovely people! Welcome to a different kind of video. I am now using you to hold myself accountable. Again, the last time I did this, I was telling you about my revision plan for the play that I wrote in college that was not as good as I thought it was. I know that this play has a lot of potential. I want desperately to get it up to that potential, but I hit a wall. So my original game plan was to have the first draft handwritten. I wanted to have it handwritten because I have an easier time getting things out onto the page when I am writing by hand, and a play is a shorter form story, so I wanted to have all of it written by mid-October and to send out a typed out version by the end of October and get feedback so that I could edit it by mid-November. And now it is the end of November. You will probably be seeing this in December. I did not achieve that. I hit like this very aggressive wall. I don't know what it was, whether it's like entirely just story-based because that's how I feel like it is, or if it was a little bit of imposter syndrome. I'm not sure. I'm doing my best, but I think I'm at a point where I need to fix the things at the beginning because I have the first act done, and the second act, I know what needs to happen. I just don't know how to make it happen because my outline is no longer fully accurate to what happened in the first act. So I can't just write what my outline says for the second act. So I have to re-outline based on what's actually here. And in my handwritten one, I went back and I reread through it and I put some notes in a different color of things that needed to change and get updated. So I am going to type up this handwritten script into a Google Doc, and I thought maybe you would want to come along with me and I could do like a little writing vlog, and I am just gonna start typing, and I guess I'll give you updates as I go along. Never really done like a progress vlogs. I watch people do them all the time. I really like enjoy watching people write, hearing about their process, but I have yet to do one myself. Here we go. Typing / rewriting the first scene of the first act, which I added a bunch of stuff and then I took some stuff out of it because I thought it would work better later because I didn't want to escalate it so much so fast. So we are now on to the second scene. I do want to change a lot about the second scene, so most of what's written here is actually going to be trashed, which is fine because this is a very short scene. So even if I have to start over from scratch on that one, I will just do that. And then scene 3, I believe, is mostly going to remain the same as it is written. And that's where we start to get the drama. So we'll see how long this goes. It looks weird. I didn't do most of the formatting that I would want to do for this while I'm typing because it takes a lot of effort to move everything over to the side and make it have the organization that you want. I honestly kind of want to stop typing their names in capital letters because that has been bothering me. And then at some point I just started putting colons after their names before the line of dialogue, and then I stopped doing it and then I started doing it again, so I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm just gonna write their names and not worry about putting it in caps because I can do that later when I'm formatting. So far so good. So far so good. Let's get back into it. Scene 2 is done. I did rewrite all of it. I wrote the scene setting. I wrote this little chunk and then everything else was different. Now we're into scene 3, which is 3.5 pages of handwritten, so that'll probably end up being about 2 pages. This is going a lot slower than I wanted it to, but I guess usually when I'm watching these, they are all sped up. So I am not sped up in real life, and I would bet the other people who do their writing vlogs are not sped up in real life. It does make me feel like I'm going slow. That's why I'm like trying to let you know how long things are taking me, because I don't know, like you can tell me an hour went by, but like, did it? Because what I saw was your fingers just flying across the keyboard typing a couple thousand words per minute. And that's not how the real world works. Scene 3 only took 14 minutes. I did not make many changes. I did make a note because something popped up that should have been a callback to something that happened in scene 2 that I did not write in because I didn't read anything that I wrote. So I went back up and I was like, hey, put this in because this is just me typing up my first draft. So it's all gonna get fully adjusted later. Scene 4 is quite literally from here to here. So that'll take me like a couple, like 45 seconds probably. So I will start typing scene 5, which is 4.5 pages. That'll probably take me like 20 minutes together. I'm not seeing any notes on scene 5. Yeah, I don't have any notes on scene 5. So I'm thinking that that'll go well. Scene 3 is where I started to get more of like my groove on it and like hear the characters' voices more. I am going to need to go back because I left one character out more often than I would like to have. So I'm gonna have to, once I get what I have written out, I'm gonna have to go through and mark moments that I can put in that other character's voice and have them contribute to the conversation, because unbeknownst to me, I cared more about the other conflict than his conflict. And he needs to be very important to the story in the first act. He needs to have stakes and be valued, and he's just not right now. And that's because I wasn't paying attention to it, so I know that now. So I'll be looking for moments, either while I'm typing to add in dialogue from him, or when I end up reading through this typed up draft. I am like not allowing myself to care about when I spell things wrong. Sometimes I'm just typing and I miss like hitting the shift button when I'm writing I, or like I missed an H in laughing. I don't care about the red squiggly lines. Please leave me alone. Scene 4 and scene 5, I think took like 14 minutes. I sat down to start filming this at like 11:15 and it's now 12:46. I did get a phone call in the middle of that, so it hasn't all been writing and updating y'all, but it's about an hour and a half. I am a decent chunk of the way in, I would say. I'm thinking I'm a decent chunk of the way in. I'm gonna find out. Let's find out. 6 pages in, whole pages, so that's 12. I have 14 full pages left of what's written. I am currently 10 pages in, so I'm starting to question. So like, if I'm 10 pages in and that was 12 pages of handwritten stuff, and then I've got 14 pages left, so we're gonna just say that'll be another 12 pages. That puts me at 24 pages for the first act, which kind of makes me question. It's not formatted correctly, so there's that. How many pages is a 2-act play? 100 pages is 3 hours, according to the first thing that I googled. In the industry, 1 hour dramas usually count between 45 and 75 pages. The size of this section could range 22 to 45 pages for an hour-long comedy. So many variables. Movie scripts are easy. Movie scripts are easy to understand because the formatting is so structured. So I don't understand. I'm gonna find a different thing. Full-length plays are also called evening-length plays because they're long enough to be their own evening. How long is that? Anywhere from around 70 to 80 minutes or upwards. How up is up? These days, TV is shrinking our attention span. That's not an answer. I just want to know how many pages I should shoot for, because this is so difficult. None of this tells me how long it should be. Dang. That is just sort of the thing, though, with playwriting, is that the structure of playwriting, the actual way that you write it, the structure that you put on the page is dependent on you as a writer. And then once it gets published, it gets put into whatever format that publishing company uses. It's very, very difficult to find. How many pages should each of the screenplay? No! I want a stage play. How many pages is a full-length stage play? A 1-act play is 9 to 12 pages? That can't be right. Like the way that I was taught that you structure your playwriting is just whatever feels the most comfortable for you and that you can do consistently. So the way that I typically do it is I'll have like character name, I'm doing this backwards. So character name, dialogue all the way across, and then the stage directions will be italicized and left aligned in a smaller section. That's how I like to structure it, and it is, I think, easy to read, but other people have done other things, and that's fine because that's just sort of how playwriting works. There's no strict rules for it the way that there are for screenwriting. But I don't think anybody's ever told me, like, supposedly the way that you structure it, it should be 1 minute per page. But so like a 10-minute play would be 10 pages of script, but I don't know how many pages to shoot for. Like, I just want a goal. All right, I'm gonna shut up because I've been doing this for 10 minutes and I should just get back into typing. I am on scene 6. I'm out of memory card space. Wow, okay, so I'm gonna have to switch that. Okay. All right, scene 6 is done, typed up. I feel actually pretty good about it. I did make some changes earlier in scene 2, which correlates to how scene 6 was written, and I knew I was gonna make those changes when I was writing scene 6, so it actually turns out pretty well. I am cool with it. I am fine with it. Now, scene 7, I believe, is the last scene, but it does do a lot. It's like the longest scene possible. The way that most of the other scenes have been working is that the odd numbered scenes are taking place with the birds, so 1, 3, 5, 7, and the even numbers are taking place with the humans. So scene 7 is going to be special because there's going to be a lot more technical things going on, because it's going to all be both sides of the stage simultaneously. So it's going to be a long one. I think that scene 6 took me about 12 minutes to write, so I'm guessing that this is going to be like a half hour for me to type these out. I have a couple of notes, very small notes, just like change this dialogue so that it's not so aggressive, or to change something also simple, like certain blocking instructions to make more sense. So I will be trying to make those small changes, but generally this is just going to be typing. And then I am done typing out the first draft of the first act, and I can go through and I can format it, and then I can print it, and then I can restructure my outline for the second act based on what has actually happened in the first act, and I can make notes onto what needs to also happen in the first act so that maybe I can finish this play at some point soon. As it turns out, there is a scene 8, and I just missed it somehow. It was towards the bottom of the page, and most of my scenes have been starting in the middle or the top of the page, so I just missed it. Otherwise, scene 7 went really well. I am now going to actually get into the technical one. I just did it. I just typed end of Act 1. We have 18 pages right now at the current formatting. I'm at 4,139 words, 4,139. I feel like it's short. I feel like it's shorter than I want it to be. I have no idea how long this actually would take. There's a lot of moving pieces. I don't know. I don't know how long it would take for it to be performed. I think I'm shooting for like maybe an hour and 10 minutes, and there would be an intermission, so it would probably end up being like an hour and, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes of like full runtime. But I don't actually know. There's a lot of things that happen at the same time. So it's even, I don't know, but I did it. It's been typed. I really didn't want to type it, so I will probably go through off camera, not right now because my wrist kind of hurts, which is why I don't really like to type my first drafts, because my left hand is just so weak and I don't know why. My right hand's fine. Typing with my right hand is fine. Writing with my right hand for long periods of time, also fine. For some reason, my left hand is like the worst at doing anything. So I'm gonna call it for today. Thank you for joining me for this different type of video. Let me know what you think about it. If you enjoyed it, I would love to know, because then I can do more of these. If you want like standard, just go back to giving writing tips, I can also do that. I may do more of these whether you ask for them or not, but I would love the feedback. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming after this with story study on Saturday. Thank you for joining me on my writing day today. I started at 11:15. It is now 1:49. Almost 3 hours worth of writing today and checking in with you guys. I am feeling a lot better than I was with it in the notebook. It's like, it's actually here. It's actually more tangible somehow that it's typed up. More people can look at it easier than trying to read my handwriting as I was like scribbling in coffee shops and stuff. We'll see how this goes. I'll probably make a playlist for this particular project. So if you haven't seen my revision plan, you can check that out up here. I believe it's either, I think it's on the side. So I will link that there and in the description box, but I'll see you guys on Saturday. So thanks for hanging out.